What do we have here? A lazy voice wondered as they looked at a screen hovering in front of them. Presented on the screen were several intruders attempting to keep themselves hidden as they made their way down the corridor. A rustling noise could be heard as a soft woman's voice said, "They appear to be uninvited guests. I do not recognize them as being a resident of the city, which explains why they are not teleported to the dining and relaxation areas." The owner of the lazy voice stroked the luscious hair of the woman as they pondered over this development. Feeling the softness of the woman's hair, the voice complained, "It was so relaxing, just laying here all day with you and others." "I know, but you need to do your work properly, or Master would be upset." The woman smiled understandingly. Hearing the mention of the Master, the voice got serious. "You are right. This is no time to laze about. Tell your sisters that we will be having fun with our first hunt." Off in the distance, howls could be heard all throughout the area. "What is that?" one of the men cried out after hearing the howling in the distance. Shade stood still, trying to pinpoint where the howling was coming from. For some reason, the sound seemed to bounce off the walls, but looking up, you could only see the night sky. There were 3 moons of varying sizes lighting up the area. "Explain what that is," she gestured at the sky. "Did we get teleported outside?" Though she asked, the answer was already in front of her. Their world only had 2 moons. "I do not know either," one of them answered, a feeling of panic rising out of his voice. "Damn it," she cursed. "We have likely been discovered. Keeping our anonymity is paramount, so we can only try to escape and regroup," Shade ordered all of them. Turning around, they ran towards the stairs, only to quickly skid to a halt. "What is the meaning of this?" Shade yelled. Where there should have been a stairway was now just more of the floor. "How could they have vanished?" she could hear some of them cry out. "Get it together. We are the Shadow. There is not anyone that we cannot defeat. Even the guild is powerless before us." Shade attempted to boost the morale of her men. Being chastised by her, they began to look more like the professional organization they were. Turning around, they could see a massive structure that seemed to emerge out of the darkness. Unlike what they had previously seen, this was just a giant wall. The only opening was practically a slit. As they approached it, they realized that only a single person could enter at a time. "It appears like the only way is to move forward," Shade remarked, not liking their current situation. "Mistress, I volunteer to go first," one of her underlings said, stepping forward. Placing a hand on his shoulder, she smiled and said, "No, I got us into this mess, so I'll move forward first. Make sure to keep an eye out for anything. I feel like they intentionally made it so only a single individual could pass in at a time." Nodding to them, she walked towards the eerie entrance. The walls were not smooth, giving off an impression that this is a natural formation. Carefully, she reached out and touched the rough surface. Seeing that nothing had happened, she tested out its durability. Taking out a dagger, she placed the tip of the knife on the wall and exerted significant pressure on it. Her breathing quickened as her arm continued to tense. The blade chipped and a tiny point went flying. With disbelief, she turned to see the blade better. Unlike most daggers, this material was created using dragon fang. It was a unique metal that could only be found in the southern part of the continent. Dwarves were the only people known to be able to process the raw ore, and it turned into something that could be forged. "Damn it," she cursed at damaging a precious tool. "At least I learned that this wall is stronger than anything I have seen before. Remember, knowledge is the first step in defeating your enemy," she talked to herself, trying to comfort the uneasy feeling she was experiencing. When she walked through the entrance, she looked and saw a series of corridors. Each one of them seemed to wind and turn in different directions. Making sure there were no guards waiting for her, she turned around to make sure that her men were following behind her. "No, this cannot be," she yelled out. Just like with the stairway, the entrance into this place was gone. Running towards the wall, she slammed her fist against it, crying out, "Damn you!" Even after her constant barrage, the wall stood there with no change. It was apathetic towards the situation, patiently waiting until she realized her folly. Breathing hard, Shade fell to her knees in exhaustion. The bottom of her fist was bleeding from the coarse surface of the wall. "Are you done feeling sorry for yourself?" she mocks herself. Sitting down, trying to regain her composure, Shade looked around herself. "I seem to be in some kind of labyrinth. The only difference is the way that it looks and how it can make things appear and disappear. Usually, when you approach a labyrinth, you would do so in a large party, but this one separated us. I guess that is why only a single individual could pass through the entrance." Feeling slightly better after objectively looking at her situation, Shade looked at the walls. Though they appeared high, they weren't that high. Grinning to herself, she willed her mana and converted it into a powerful gust of wind. She propelled herself towards the top of the wall and gently landed on top. Too bad they did not anticipate a wind mage. She sneered at the people that placed her into this predicament. On top of the wall, she had a clear view of her surroundings. "Where am I?" her thought came out unintentionally as she saw how large this labyrinth was. There didn't seem to be an end in sight, as if this place was not inside of a building. While she was trying to figure out what to do, there was a vine that crept towards her. Shade didn't notice the vine until it had nearly wrapped around her leg. "What the hell is that thing?" she shouted, and jumped away. As she was in the air, escaping from the vine, another one shot out towards her. "Let's see how you enjoy this!" She flung several wind blades at the vine and sliced it into several smaller pieces. Seeing that she was successful, she landed away from where she was, but still on top of the wall. Basking in her lucky escape, she didn't see several vines heading towards her. Each one of the vines launched themselves towards one of her appendages, constricting her arms and legs. Sensing that she was about to get free, several more vines shot out and wrapped themselves around her torso and chest. Blushing from the feel of the vines on her breast, she continued to struggle. With the way the vines felt, she couldn't bear the humiliation any longer and shot blade wind all around her. Released from the vile experience, she jumped back down onto the ground. "Now I should be able to see you pieces of shit better," Shade snarled. She continuously turned her body and head to see the vines before they latched onto her. After a long period had passed, there didn't appear to be any vines attacking her anymore. Thinking that this was just a ploy, she continued to stay vigilant. The way the vines moved, it felt like they were able to anticipate her actions, which made her even more hesitant to relax. Constantly being on guard only helped to wear her down. Slowly, Shade relaxed her guard and let her arms fall to her sides. This place is not a typical labyrinth. Not only does it tire you out physically, but also presses psychological pressure onto you. I hope the others are doing better than I am. Deep down, she knew that there was a high likelihood that they were already dead. Being in this scenario wasn't their forte, so expecting the others to survive was asking for too much. She still couldn't help to stay optimistic, to help her own morale stay high. Judging by how the vines acted, I think this means that going over the walls is dangerous. She strategized as she continued to walk down one of the paths. The problem is I do not have the supplies to handle Labyrinth right now. Shade clenched her fist, frustrated that she had placed herself into this position